Welcome to the Purity Pulse podcast, your go-to podcast for the natural health industry and everything Purity Life. I'm Erin Macklin.
And I'm Julie Drapeau.
Today we're going to do our regular weekly check-ins. We're having a special episode today where we're going to have some call-in questions from our favorite people, the Purity Life team.
Yes.
And then we'll do some new to Purity Life.
We're just off CHFA.
Oh, did you get a chance to take a deep breath yet?
Thank you. I'll take it now. But it always brings to me the question of how do people, like how everybody kind of bring back their energy after the show. We're all different, but
because it sucks a lot out of you.
Yeah, in different ways. If you're an introvert, it sucks a lot of energy because you
you're
have
on
to
the whole time.
Yeah, you have to make that effort.
Yeah.
And if you're an extrovert, then you talk so much that sometimes you lose your voice. You get so, excited, energized. But so what's your go-to or what's your practice to get your energy back?
To re-energize.
Yeah.
I probably should have a really good, here's the things that I do, because it feels like that's sort of the intentional me time. But honestly, it's not so much re-energize as it is shift gears. Like for me, it's, okay, that's done. Now we're back home and it's into the next thing. There's not a lot of pause time. It's kind of, okay, now we've got to regroup, get the family all organized, get everything rolling, and then move on. I probably don't take enough time actually to absorb and re-energize.
Yeah. I think, because thinking about you have kids, right? So it's like back to school and then CHFA right at the gate. So it's like, yeah,
it just feels like it keeps amping up. And then when you're away for however many days for the show,
that's right.
Then like the recoup is always, there's a little bit of extra to kind of catch up with, and kids need you a little bit more because you've been away and all of those things.
What would you do if you could do something though? Like if you could say, okay, what would energize you?
All sorts of different things, really, like even just all the things that are, so I like outdoors. So I mean, even just a walk through like a hike or something like that.
Reconnect with natures and not having like a million people after you, just like the silence kind of thing. Yeah.
But I'm also not opposed to a spa day,
Yeah, we were just talking about that earlier, that the studio had like a little bit of a scent of some
spa smell. We were manifesting.
Sorry, because we really want it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's funny.
What about you? Do you have specific things?
I think for me with years, I've come to realize that I need to do it during CHFA.
Right.
Because if I don't do that, probably what you alluded is we come back to the office and it's, okay, what's next? Yeah. We're already on the next thing. So there's no time to say, oh, after CHF, I'm going to take a day off.
Yeah.
It would be a nice idea, but the reality is you have all the follow-up to do.
Well, yeah.
And then
it's not like there's a drop in work or anything.
No, and in September, I always say that it's sort of the beginning of the year in our industry. So you have that last couple of months that are very busy, very intense. So it's definitely not a place to take some time off. So through
You're right.
the years,
it's very much, it doesn't feel like the end of something. It feels like the beginning of something. It's a kickoff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I call it, for me, it's Christmas time because I love it. It's so energizing. And, everybody came back from holidays in August and then we're back on it. People are back to their routine. So I've always made a point to make sure that, very simple things, but I make sure that I hydrate a lot.
Yeah.
So that's key because we talk a lot. We're on that show floor. It's really dry. I make sure I exercise still every day. So we do, we always organize once a year that we call it CrossFit kind of light workout. So I'm sure of that. And then on the Sunday, we typically book a private CrossFit. So the box is not open, but they pay. Yeah, we get in there and then we organize. Or sometimes in the West, it's a bit more complex. In Toronto, there's more boxes that open earlier. We just go to the gym and do a workout. But even though you're on the show floor all day and people say, are you crazy? You're on your feet all day. It's just blood flowing.
Gets the energy.
Yeah. And you're more just alone with yourself. So I would say for me it's that. And I'm very blessed that every end of day I get a foot massage.
Ooh,
this is great.
Look at you.
So that's lovely, and I just find that Just like you, when you go in nature, you kind of reconnect. Your feet are, that you're on the floor, and often, we forget to massage your scalp or your feet. You get the body massage. But really, just a nice little tip, just bring a menthol or eucalyptus or any type of cream that has that refreshing with some magnesium spray oil, and just massage the plant of your feet. The magnesium gets there really quickly, so it just helps to relax. So it's nothing fancy, but that's a routine that really helps me to not be, oh God, CHFA is over and I'm totally drained.
Yeah.
So that's definitely key. And food.
Yes.
So
that's been something that I've learned over time too, is so often that you get so busy and you're like, oh, I'll get there. And you start eating later and later. And I think, still wrong, but my younger self was able to do that better, or maybe I was just more ignorant to the impacts. But yeah, certainly I need food, and I need it in a timely manner, or it just starts going downhill. I can keep going if I have food,
but you feel
and nourishment
drained more,
yeah,
right?
If I don't, I'm just not as good. Like I'm not as on top of things.
Oh,
like
for sure.
Yeah.
What we think is, on the show floor there, there's food, there's snacks everywhere. Yeah, try that for a couple of days in a row, and your belly is like,
That's funny because people
mix.
always say that. Oh, well, there's just so much to eat here, and I'm always kind of the one in the background being like, I need a substance in one sitting.
Yeah,
like I can't. I don't know. I'm not a grazer. I can be. Don't get me wrong. Like I can graze, but unless I get that kind of like food in, it's not enough.
I agree, because that's totally what happened. Like having a bar will help you. Like if you're in a rush, you're in between meetings. But I think we said that a couple of times is, I want real food. My body needs real food. So that's, I would say as a big, wrap up, that's taking care of myself during the show is really key. So for now, we'll
Makes
see.
sense.
Yeah. So now we're having a interesting, different episode.
Yes,
so,
I'm looking forward to this one. It's going to be fun.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to hearing what people want to know. And I always like just getting the opportunity to just sit and chat with you, because we always learn new things about each other.
Absolutely.
Right? Always fun.
So now we're going to get into a little bit of those voicemails from Purity Life people.
Yep. And this week's episode is sponsored by Trace Minerals. Trace, expert in all things minerals, has ionic supplements we know you'll love. Ion Mag supports energy, calm mood, muscle stamina, and more. Magnesium plays a role in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, so you can feel confident that you're supporting whole body health when you purchase Ion Mag. Ionic D3 and K2 features vitamins D3 and K2, which work synergistically to support calcium utilization and bone health. As a bonus, Ionic D3 and K2 also promotes immunity. Feel better every single day with Trace.
Now this is very exciting. So we have our first part of the voicemail episode, because the team participated so much that we had to break it in two.
Yes.
So are you ready for the first question?
Let's hear the Purity Life questions.
Hey, this is a question for Julie and Aaron individually. My question is, what is a product or category that you slept on the longest and that you were surprised you really liked or really enjoyed, and now it's a staple or it's something you highly recommend to others?
I know.
You know, right off the bat,
right off the bat. I would say Trace Minerals.
Yeah.
Yes, because we had that brand and that product in our portfolio for years. I wouldn't say that I thought about it as much. And when I saw the testing and the energy 2 years ago, I think, on the floor, they were doing a demo showing that when they, have you seen that testing? That they plug in into like a fruit and they show anyway the energy when you use the minerals. And it just got in my mind. And even at that time, I didn't start using it right out. Before we went to visit them in Utah, I started to take it and I saw the change. Like, honestly, the just more energy.
Yeah.
So now I add it in my water.
Yeah, you're talking about like specifically the
drops.
Trace Mineral drops.
Correct. Yeah. But in all their products, that's the base.
Yes.
It's in everything. And I even added the mouthwash as well to bring back minerals to the enamel. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Along the same lines, I would say that Heritage Store is actually very similar. That's another one that we had in our books for a very long time, and then they kind of popped out and gained popularity and rebranded and big now. But same for Attitude. I was looking back at the Attitude older packaging. Like, it's always had pretty good run, but when you look at the older packaging and the older look and just like, I think about how I kind of felt about that brand before, and then they've come out and rebranded and just done a whole bunch of new things. Completely different take on that brand now. Like, the whole brand feel is very, very different.
What would be your pick in the brand? Is there like something that you would be?
You know what I really like from them right now is the dry body oil. It's in like a stick, and I can just rub it on my legs. It's fantastic. They've got like I don't even remember what it's salt something, but they've got a really good dry body oil that I like. But just, I would say the overall brand, just the kind of take on it is so different than it was before.
Evolution.
Still all the same really good kind of ethical things and whatnot. But the look is so much better.
Good answer.
Hi, Erin and Julie. This is Mike from Acton. I know you have both been with Purity Life for quite some time and have been through many changes over those years, including changes in ownership, changes in strategy, the addition of distribution centers in Calgary and Laval, as well as overall significant company growth. My question is, how do you think Purity Life's culture has evolved over the years, both for the good and the bad? And what changes to our culture do you anticipate for the future and any challenges that may result from them?
Well, it's a full-on question.
That's a great question.
Yeah. I have an answer, but do you want to?
I think so. He's right. Both of us have been with Purity for quite a while.
Yeah.
How long have you been with Purity?
20 next year.
Woof.
Mm-hmm.
20. That's a big one. So I've been there for 13.
Yeah.
So I'm 7 years behind you. And yeah, man, Purity is a completely different place now than it was when I started. When I started, it was still David Chapman owned. And I think very shortly after I got there, Synopta bought
Purity.
So culture change, man, we've gone through it. We've gone through so many different culture changes even. So initially when I got there, I mean, obviously still a very small run. Most of the people that were working there were from Acton, like very local.
Lots of family
run.
Friends,
lots of relatives even within.
Yes.
Just, I mean, all the things you would expect from a family run business. Not super built to scale at the time, but then when I think about it, when we think about how David Chapman did scale, like they did scale a lot in those first kind of 10, 15 years.
Lots of innovation, like to start within that industry, because the industry too, like, I mean, wasn't what it is today.
So then Synopta came in and then it was publicly traded. So that changed the culture quite a bit during that time. I found even in the short time that I was there before that happened.
The focus as well.
Yes.
We switched the focus a lot at
that's
that
right.
time.
That's
we
when
had
we
our
really,
own brand.
Yep.
And we were investing a lot in our own brand. We even had commercial with Quest Nature's Harmony. We were on TV.
The amount of effort and resources and whatnot that were put into kind of managing those brands. Above and beyond everything that we were distributing. And then just, I mean, all the things that kind of come along with more publicly traded stuff. So it was all very bottom line driven. It was less personal, I think, for a while.
Less people focus.
Yes.
I mean, we were at that point in time not as much investing in developing people.
Yes.
And I would say that now, thinking about that, like all the evolution, when Banyan came on board after being sold from Synopta to Banyan and Matthew purchasing Purity, it really shifted. And that's when, our corporate values took, a big place. And I would say we're now like a professional sports team.
Right.
That's really how
we formalized a lot of things at that time.
Yes.
But I think things were formalized when David Chapman initially sold, but things with Banyan became formalized, but it felt more positive, if I can say that. Like it felt warmer.
More like a business.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think that back in time when David, started the company, everything was new, like even for the industry, and he had like great ideas and he founded, like he's the founder. But you get to a level, and we adapted to what is the industry. Because you look at back in time, I mean, we laugh about, the trade show and how everything was set.
Yeah.
To now, everything is way more, I would say, I use the word professional, but that is. And for us at Purity, I would say that we shifted on being a distributor with their own brand to we focus on your brands. absolutely 100%. So we don't own any brand, and we're
Big
really
shift in
focused.
focus at that time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all the investment too that we do to help our people to grow, accountability, elevating excellence, making sure that everybody get a chance to grow in the company and support that.
And recognizing that putting those resources and that value into the people is going to help scale the company as
Our flywheel.
right? So just
Absolutely.
that
Yeah.
recognition and that understanding that there is worth in putting everything into our people, and that's going to then, I mean, yes, our flywheel, and in turn, great relationships with vendors, great relationship with retailers, grow sales. Like, it's all just a big cycle of growth. And I think we've really been able to formalize more our ability to scale, being prepared to scale and continue to grow, but in a way that there's still a lot about that kind of small family-owned company culture that you see pieces throughout the company as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And looking into the future, for sure, I think, with Matthew being so like a visionaire, that really helps us also to have not waiting for the industry to change, but also being ahead of the change. So I would say that the future is bright indeed.
Yeah. I think our challenge as we continue to grow is always, so how do we take this culture that we've nourished and grown very intentionally and make sure that we're able to apply that to all of our different facets as we grow, as we create more distribution centers and have these kind of offshoots, making sure that this culture that we so strongly believe in is then applied the same way in
I think
all of
it's
our
in
areas.
place. I would say it is in place because all of that's why, all those investment in the leadership team at different level, not only at the VP level, but at the manager level and subsequent level, to grow people and looking at who's going to be in that seat later on and making sure that we absolutely go and share that same story. And I think that what's helping us is we get people like accountable to follow those values.
Yeah.
So we take them, they're not just slapped on the wall and, oh, that looks good and let's read them once in a while. But everybody use those words in every day.
Yes.
And so that's why I think
that's so much of developing that
place.
culture is repetition of those things that we believe, the words, the language that we use, and making sure
It's not
that
just pretty
everybody's
words.
feeling. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
So there you go, Mike. We answer your question.
What are the essentials to have in store for consumers for the fall and holiday season?
Fall and holiday season to me always starts with visuals and scents. Like, it's
absolutely,
you need the right products, but you also you need people to walk in the store and immediately kind of have that seasonal feeling. Now I'm smelling the
gingerbread
and the gingerbread and the pumpkin spice, and I'm seeing the colors and I'm seeing the lights and the sparkles. And I mean, I don't know. Do you feel that way? I feel like
totally
the holidays come and it's just a feeling. I can't even explain it, but there is this kind of like warm, like, oh, and a little bit of excitement. And you need to be able to incite that in people as soon as they come into your store or as soon as they're jumping on your website.
Think about Starbucks a second.
Yeah.
When they come with their special drinks, right? So everybody needs to, in store, to absolutely create the ambiance that come with. And absolutely agree with you. The scent, you go in a grocery and you smell the bread or the pasta, and then they put the wine beside, like everything that goes together. So it's not different in our industry.
Nope.
I think that people are just more reserved, but they should go absolutely all out. Some of you guys are doing it perfectly. And that's what it's fun, because you come in and you already get in that giddy ambiance of those scent and so lotions and from, head to toe and inside out. So I would
and honestly,
say
you get a little bit looser with your wallet too.
Well, you do.
Right? You're in the spirit of giving, and much more impulsivity when it comes to purchases.
And it gives you idea, absolutely, because you can, be a gingerbread tea lover, but then beside there's all what comes with. And that's why it needs to be like an easy end cap, and you have some suggestion in there, but absolutely agree with you. The scent, even the music. That's one thing that I find that when I travel and I go in stores, sometimes you hear the fridges, the zzz, the back noise.
Right. It's not that appealing.
That's a mood killer, people. That's absolutely a mood killer. You need to think about all the aspects. I say, think about all the senses.
Yeah.
So have also pieces that people can taste. Little cookies, chocolate, something like that. The drinks, And then you have all the produce or the warm comforter that goes with, like everything. Like go crazy.
Yeah.
Make some fun in your store. So yeah.
Can you please speak to how Purity feels about the new NHP regulations that our government is trying to pass and how that will affect our business going forward?
Well, I'm sure we could have different opinions. So
Yeah,
I
I was
wouldn't say
gonna
that
say,
it's
but
just a purity answer
Yeah.
because it is could be individualized. But to me, I would say there's two sides to this. There's the good in the sense that people want to understand, what's in the products and transparency and actually ingredients. We talked about that in the trends talk that is a key important factors. People are looking for information.
Yeah.
So I would say that is a positive.
So, yeah, simplifying that is
It's a
good.
positive. On the other side, of course, there's adjustment because there's French, English ingredients, and then the label, font size. So for the look of product and just the space, for companies, and it's going to be tough for some smaller companies that have to redo their packaging. So
Well,
there's investment there.
There's so many different facets, right? So yes, are you going to be able to make your packaging appealing? It's going to be a lot more difficult to make. I mean, to some extent, actually, it could make it more difficult to make it very clear on the front of the label.
Yes.
Because now you've got way less space to deal
Confusion
with.
could be.
You could very possibly be in a position where now you're having to make your labels and your packaging bigger. So now you're wasting, environmental impact of that. Not good. You're shipping larger things. You're creating more packaging that's
space on
unnecessary.
shelf.
The additional costs that just are going back towards the regulatory and whatnot. There is definite risk there in how many companies are going to leave Canada.
Losing
we'll
variety.
have less access to supplements and natural health products that people rely on. People are looking for their health, but they need that selection. So that's sad and scary to think about that we would have less selection and less access to all of those.
I'm always on the very positive side. I'm sure there is a way, but it's all new, and I think that it's important to take it seriously. And I would say, as an overarching, Purity is taking that seriously, and we want to help our brands. Of course, there's bodies out there that they're specialized in doing that, but definitely we like to help our brands that we distribute to give them some help in their packaging on what is best and going forward. But I agree with you that I think the main big concern is losing that variety that is so a key point in our industry.
Yeah. Some international companies coming into Canada, I think is not great, but also having that barrier for Canadian companies where their costs are so much higher is not going to set them up for success either. I think you're right. There needs to be some sort of compromise endpoint. There are some values here. The intents, I think, are good. There's good things in the intentions for sure.
It's the middle of the road that we need.
we need to be heard, and the proper investigation needs to be done. Is okay, if we do this, what are the actual impacts? And I think the CHFA has done a great job in speaking for the industry and really making sure that we're having our
taking
voice
action.
heard. Yeah.
Taking action.
Yeah,
because
their whole
often
Save Our Supplements campaign has been good.
Because often you hear those, I would call it cause, and you don't act because you think that, others.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine, or
somebody
other will
speak
take
for
care
us,
of it.
yeah.
But we saw a big movement. So
Yeah.
Thank you, Leah, for your question. That was a good one.
Hi, Julie and Aaron. Sierra here from Category Management. So my question for you is a bit of a two-parter. So my first question is, how did you both get started with Purity Life and grow into your roles that you're in today? And any advice that you would have for anyone who wants to grow into a different role at Purity Life or progress within their career?
I love that question, Sierra.
Do you want to start? Because I have a full list already.
You can start. Okay,
yes.
so let's do this in two parts the way that she
yes.
did. How did you get your start at Purity?
Very funny way. I was in university in Quebec City and my friend was looking for a job. So I went on the website to search for her and I saw Purity Life Health Product is looking for a part-time sales rep in Quebec and natural health industry. And I always been fascinated in that industry. And I said, I'm going to apply for fun. I'll just send my resume. And I didn't think about it. because I was really focused in doing my degree. And so I didn't find anything for her, but I got the call to have the interview and started there as a part-time sales rep in Quebec City.
Yep.
And I made my way up by working hard and being very innovative and not listening always. So I was selling displays.
Is that your advice for Sierra?
Yes, exactly. Just break the rules. It is important because then you stand out.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a limit in the breaking the rules. But still, I was selling products that I wasn't supposed to sell in certain doors,
Right.
but I still did. And then it grasped people's attention saying, oh, that actually works. You're doing planograms.
Right.
Well, we shouldn't have time to do that. And I was just part-time. So I would say it's investing the extra time, definitely connecting with people.
Yes.
I'm answering the second question.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I noticed
Aaron.
that's fine.
You noticed, right? That's why I say I break rules. Tell people around you, if you're looking to grow in a certain department, go sit with people. And that's one thing at Purity that we love doing.
Yeah.
I absolutely love when somebody show up in my office and say, hey, you know what? I would love to be doing this. How can I get there? Voice it. Bring ideas. That's absolutely the way. Some people are quiet and they just hope, and then they see somebody else get the position and say, well, what happened? Well, you didn't say anything. So that would be my first advice. And the second one would be find a mentor. And we're going to have something coming at Purity that will help that too, that we will provide and make people available to be some type of a mentorship to absolutely help to, okay, I'm here in this position. What are the steps? What are the key knowledge that I need to get to that other, not necessarily another level, but another position that I would love to do.
Different opportunities.
Absolutely. So that would be in a quick way without spending hours that I would say
there's
that
so
is-
much, right?
There is so much and that confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I got my foot in the door at Purity. I was working in retail for about 5 years and kind of helping with opening other stores and whatnot. And I came across it because Dale Simmons, who was our senior brand manager for quite some time,
Yes.
I was working with him when he started working with Purity. And he noted for me, hey, there's this job opportunity. It might be something you're interested in. So that's how I kind of got the,
What
wow,
was your
there's a
first
really
position
cool,
again?
I was vendor relations associate.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, this would be a perfect kind of next step for me. Applied, went through the whole, I remember
Process.
meeting with Matthew. I met with David Chapman. Like looking back to those conversations now, it's very, very interesting. But that's how I came in. And then, yes, I did vendor relations for a while. Led the innovation team for a while, led the customer service team for a while, went back to marketing. It's been a whole list of things, but that's how I came about it. In terms of growth, I mean, you really hit the nail on the head with a couple things that I was going to say too, which is very much you have to voice it, and you've got to voice it in all different ways. Like you've got to be really good at your job. So you've got to work hard. People have to notice it, but you've got to make sure that you're noticed, and you've got to be sure that you're saying to people, yeah, I'm looking for opportunities, and it's not going to come right away, and it might not be the second or third time, but when people know, they're seeing you when they're thinking of the opportunities.
When the seat come available.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with your point saying that you need to do your job well. I often see that people want to go to another position and they're skipping step on showing that they're the best in their current job.
Or they sit back because now they're waiting for something different. They're not interested in what they're doing.
Don't do that.
No, don't
because
do that.
doesn't show us that you absolutely are, a good worker, and you're passionate and you're focused at what you do.
Yeah.
And there's like a lack of trust that is built on, you want that other shiny object, but you should start by doing what you were, wanted to at the beginning.
Yeah. And I think positivity ties right in with that too, right? Like you have to be positive and a go-getter and come with solutions.
Attitude.
So spot the things that maybe aren't exactly the way that you think they should be, and come with your ideas and solutions. Don't just point out or sit on, hey, this isn't great or this isn't great. this isn't great. I have some ideas here. Let's try this. Or what do we think about this? And then be able to listen, because going along with that mentoring that you're talking about is you have a wide variety, especially in our company, of people that have been there for a long time that are very approachable. Yeah.
That absolutely.
Yeah,
grew.
exactly.
Yeah.
That will be able to, would love to share, hey, here's some history, or here's some perspective on what you're trying to do or what you're thinking, or here's some ideas on how we can kind of connect and move you forward. The connections are key. Talk to people, make those connections.
Yeah, it comes back to that, make yourself known. Don't be in the dark. Like, I'm just thinking, and I'm thinking about Cassie back in time too. Like, she grew through position as well.
Yeah.
But she was excellent at her inside, sales position. Excellent. And then you get noticed. And then, as you say, if you bring ideas forward instead of just, here's a challenge. We love to hear that, but bring a solution. So I think that's the key point. So hopefully, Sierra, that's helping you out.
So that's all the time we have today for the questions, but I understand that there's more, and I'm excited that we got so much interest because we're going to do a part 2.
Yes, absolutely. And now let's go into New to Purity Life, and I think we have somebody special asking us a question for that.
It's time for New to Purity Life. So you
Different this time.
We're keeping in the spirit of having questions asked.
Yes.
We have a special guest to ask us a question. Let's hear what we've got.
Hi, Julie and Aaron. I'm curious as to what the new hashtag, your brand is our focus, means. I see that now with some new stickers that Purity has produced. And I wonder what that means for our vendor and broker partners. Looking forward to a response. Thanks. Bye.
We know that voice.
I love how we sign that off.
Yeah, exactly. Very
Thanks,
polite.
bye.
And great. Yeah, thanks, bye. Should have said bonsoir. This is exciting, and I think we talked about that a bit earlier, but it's quite simple. Is Purity don't own brand. We are totally focused on helping our distributed brands to succeed in this industry. So we don't have just our personal, as we had before with Quest and Nature's Harmony.
We just spoke about how that can pull away so much attention, right? That becomes a big focus. So that's not our focus. That's not our goal. That's not the path we've chosen to take.
Yes. And that differentiates us a lot. There's different distribution in the industry, but we decided to make it very clear. There's brands that have some focus. Some people will say, well, you have some categories that you focus on because they're on trends, right? Or because they have line extensions.
The story to be told and the one that people are listening to, or that's what we want to make sure that we're sharing.
But at the end of the day, our people, our reps are selling the brands under the cover of Purity Life. Yeah. So that's the hashtag that you will see more and more. So here you go, Matthew. Answer to your question. That was a great episode. So much fun, right? Yeah. Be sure to subscribe to the show and leave us a rating and a review. We absolutely want to hear from you. You can follow us on Instagram at Purity Life L Product LP and myself at JD_Girl Power.
And I'm at Aaron G. Macklin. And come back next week. We're going to do more of this.
Part 2.